Vasudev Dutt was so detached, especially in this charitable way. Just on a regular day-to-day basis, you could imagine what he was like. If overall he was willing to go to hell forever so that everyone could go back to Godhead. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi. And he was really a strict sannyasi. All the details of sannyas he was very, very much adhering to be an example for others. But even Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, he was worried about Vasudev Dutt. And we read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita how Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat also, Mahaprabhu, he instructed Shivananda Sain to take care of Vasudev Dutta's financial accounts at home. For a simple reason. Vasudev Dutt had a family. And anybody, whoever needed anything, Vasudev Dutt would give him everything. Whatever he had, if he saw anybody in need, he would give it. And he didn't give it in a calculating way. Usually most charitable people are very calculating. Vasudev Dutt would just give whatever a person needed. And if there were a few people, that means he gave everything he had. And he was doing that every day. And he had nothing left. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told Shivananda Sain that he needs something for himself. I'm a sannyasi. I have nothing, but I have more than him because people give me donations, The crest jewel of all sannyasis is worried about his grihasta because he's giving everything away. Can you imagine? What a blessing to have God worrying about you. And having his most dear servants taking care of your accounts. He said Vasudev Dutt shouldn't suffer so much because of his compassion. Now, living here in the 21st century in Mumbai, we may think this is quite impractical. And for us, it is. But the spirit and the principle is what we must follow in the footsteps of. The principle is not only practical, it is essential to actually imbibe the Vedic culture and the Vaishnava culture. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the etiquette of a devotee is is the ornament that makes him beautiful in the eyes of God. And Vaishnava etiquette is about respect to others according to their position. And that respect is always done in a service attitude. As the servant of the servant of the servant. This is what Vaishnava etiquette is about. Being the servant of the servant of the servant and offering all respect according to the time, place, and person. Kala Desha Patra. Now, according to what we have, it's meant to be given to others. If we have knowledge, what is that example I think of? If you have knowledge but you don't share it with others, then it doesn't even have a realistic effect on the person who has it. That's the purpose of knowledge. To serve others. By our example and by our words. If we're not sharing the knowledge we have, then we cannot get realization of that knowledge. And we saw in Srila Prabhupada's example, he had nothing. He would be sitting there in the Bowery, somebody would let him use a little corner of their own one-room flat. There was no dividing. It was just one room. The kitchen, the bathroom, everything was just one room practically. There may have been a little curtain for the toilet, but other than that, it's just one room. Prabhupada's living with some hippie in the corner of the room. And he would invite people to come. And he had nothing. Someone would give him an apple and he would cut it up according to how many people was there and give everyone one piece of apple. And he would give his knowledge. He would give his love, such hospitality. 26 2nd Avenue, he was a sannyasi, but when guests would come, he would cook for them, he would serve them, he would wash the pots for them, he would speak for them, give them knowledge, he would do the kirtan for them, give them hospitality, love, welcome them, everything. If we have wealth, we should understand our wealth is meant to be shared with others. If we have skills, our skills are meant to be shared with others. Whatever God gives us, we can't claim possession of it. It's not mine. Krishna is the intelligence of the intelligent. Krishna is the strength of the strong. Krishna is the ability in men and women. When Krishna entrusts us, it is our responsibility to use it for the welfare of others, like Ranti Dev. Not like Duryodhana, though, except that one instant. Like Vasudev Datta, and like all others. Whatever prestige or honor we may have, even that shouldn't be used to be enjoyed by oneself. If somehow or other in our life we have some prestige or we have some recognition or honor, we should understand, this is not meant for me. God is entrusting this so that this prestige can be utilized to relieve other people of suffering. And Bhagavad Gita explains there's charity in the mode of ignorance, passion, goodness, and then there's transcendental charity. Charity in the mode of ignorance is to give the wrong person, the wrong thing at the wrong time in the wrong place. Somebody may ask an example. I don't know what it's like in India. Well, I know what it's like in India. I've been here for 40 years. But in an example in the West, you go down streets and people who are homeless, they'll come up to you and say, "Can you give me a cigarette?" That's usually what they ask for, actually. And so people give them. They think that they're compassionate. But this is charity in the mode of ignorance. It's the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time in the wrong place. Or you give them money and they use the money for drugs. That's in the mode of ignorance. You may think that, I'm giving it to them for some food and everything, but if they use it for that purpose, for drugs or BDs or whatever, then actually they're transforming your charity into the mode of ignorance. Charity in the mode of passion is when we're giving it with the desire for prestige, when we're doing it for some material gain. Sometimes the more you give charity, the more people think you're charitable and they'll buy your product, and then you become more wealthy, so it's a good investment. Or you get tax write-offs. Or you get popularity and prestige. That's in the mode of passion. Charity and sattva guna, goodness, is to give the right thing to the right person at the right time in the right place without ulterior motives. Completely unselfishly. Mode of goodness means unselfish. We're really doing it to help someone, and we actually are helping them. But when we give transcendental knowledge, when we give Mahaprasad, when we give the holy name, when we give Krishna, when you add Krishna to charity in the mode of goodness, it becomes transcendental. It becomes divine. It's charity to the body, mind, and soul. It uplifts the heart. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the highest of all charity is to give people the facility by which they can awaken their love for Krishna. Especially to induce people to chant the holy name. Whether it's our temple or Govinda's restaurant or Bhaktivedanta Hospital or Gopal's garden or any of our homes or the Brahmachari ashram, this is the principle. It's a universal principle that applies to everyone. Hospitality. Where there's Vaishnav hospitality, really loving, concerned desire to make people happy and serve people, to relieve people of suffering, especially when they come to your home or your temple or your place. It opens people's hearts. And factually, Srila Prabhupada's books answer every question anyone can have. The Siddhanta of Srila Prabhupada's books are so practical and so deep and so comprehensive and so empowered by Radharani, Krishna, and all the previous acharyas. But when people come to our places, whether it's our homes or our temples, and they really feel that genuine hospitality, Srila Prabhupada told us how we should think. Anyone who comes to our temples, we should feel Krishna has sent them here. And how I treat this person is how I treat Krishna. And that's the way we should feel at our homes too. That type of compassion is not a detail. It is one of the most highly emphasized, prominent points of Vaishnav lifestyle, is hospitality. Just the other day during prasadam at lunch, we were reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and Prabhupada wrote a letter to every temple in the world giving an order that anyone who comes to the temple must get full prasad. He even made the menu. You remember? Puri, sabji, halava. And as soon as people come and eat it, you start making again. And then you start making again and start making again. And he said, if there's anything left over at night, then the brahmacharis can get something. So don't worry about having too much. And that was his logic. It's the spirit that we have to understand, this hospitality. People's hearts melt. They believe the philosophy because they see it in action. when they feel the love and the compassion in a devotee's hospitality. So we've put tremendous efforts in this guest reception department with Sankirtan Prabhu and Gokulananda Prabhu. And so many grihastas now are helping. It's extremely important. This is really so much what our temple is here for. So that anybody, whoever, whenever they come, they feel the loving reception, welcoming, and hospitality of the devotees' hearts. And this should extend in every aspect of our lives. In fact, these days, even in business, in some of the greatest experts in analyzing successful businesses, what often breaks or makes a business is their hospitality. People would rather go to a place with good hospitality, where they feel loved and wanted and cared for, than a place where they just get a good product. If you have a choice. It's human nature. Because human nature is everyone essentially wants to be loved and everyone wants to love. And when you love someone, if they're reasonably good people, which most people are, if you show love to someone, they reciprocate and they start to love you. If you show affection, people open up and give affection. You disarm them. You know, there are some bad people who you show kindness to them and they think that you're doing it only to exploit them, and then they'll devise a way to exploit you. But most people, if they feel loved and cared for, they want to reciprocate. And we want to give the charity of pure devotional service. Ranti Dev wanted to free people from suffering. By giving people the holy name, by giving people Prabhupada's books, by giving people a Vaishnava lifestyle, we can actually give them the charity of the body, mind, and soul, by which they never have to suffer again. They can experience Krishna, Krishna's love. There's no greater thing. But to open people's hearts, we really have to feel in our hearts the desire to give them this charity, the need to give them this charity. And very much our hospitality, how we welcome people, how we treat people, is how they're going to open their hearts to receive it. And as the story goes on, we see this idea of charity developing more and more and more. When Vamanadev approaches Bali Maharaj, what was it, on the Narmada River? He was performing this massive yajna, sacrifice. And Vamanadev comes in this little dwarf form of a Brahmin. And he comes, and Bali Maharaj understands. He's an uninvited guest. He's Atiti. He's an uninvited guest. I have to serve him. I have to please him. I have to welcome him. And he was willing to give everything he had without reservation. Did he lose? He gained infinitely more than he ever had before. He gave whatever he conquered after, not an easy thing. We have to read these scriptures putting ourselves in the position of these people. Bali had just, through all kinds of defeats and all kinds of setbacks, finally he did it. He conquered the universe. And now he's about to give it all away, just to keep his promise of giving in charity to an uninvited guest. He lost the material world, but he gained the spiritual world. Sutapa, he got a spiritual planet where Vishnu lived with him. Pure devotional service, eternal fame for Atmanivedanam. And then, in his next birth, temporarily, before he went back to Godhead forever, he was given the position of Indra. So he got it all back. He gave it away, he got the whole spiritual world, and then he got the whole material world back. He had everything. He really had the best of both worlds, as they say.